stopped by somebody's house that I knew, and they have a dog that likes to hump, and he urinated on me. Disgusting. But that's how animals are. And so, yeah, I had to go definitely change those clothes because I'm not gonna walk around and be in it's all day. So, and not all day, but just not at all. I'm just not walking around like that. And so, yeah, back to what I was talking about above water. God opened me up. I started seeing different people. With that, a lot of other people had to get up out of my life. Grateful for it. It was painful, but I'm grateful for it because, and some people were just walking out of my life. Like, when I say they were walking, they were literally walking. Like, it's real funny. People will be, it's cool when people get what they want. But when they see you doing different, they don't get what they want. It might be a way of not making. It doesn't even have to be making you in a way that makes you feel like you are. It doesn't have to be, you giving them, not giving them something or anything like that. It could be you working on yourself, getting better, and now they don't have any time to talk about you. Because you'll be surprised at how many people. You'll be surprised at how many people who are secretly envious of you, or people who aren't. They're envious of you, but it shows up in a different way. Most people think about somebody just talking trash or something like that. But some people are envious of you because they see you being at a stagnant point. They can see you being hurt, but they know that you got enough strength and capacity to surpass things, and they're comfortable. It makes them feel good because you're stuck. Okay? And so, yeah. So with that, you'll see a lot of it. Point blank, you'll see a lot of that. And so a lot of those people started to drop off. Not only that, my mind started shifting to the point where I didn't even want to be around half of the people. Not to say that they were, horrible people or anything. It's just what they were doing was no longer interesting to me. It's like, okay, I got bigger fish to fry. I can do this, I don't have to. And for me, that was really deep because I didn't have to play dumb anymore. For a good amount of time, I've literally had to play dumb to save my life out here. And when I say that, people think that I'm tripping, but no, I'm so serious. Like, there were so many people that were so intimidated by me, just like David in the Bible, so intimidated by what they heard about me or how I looked or where I came from, to the point that they didn't really want to, they were intimidated they didn't want to help me, they wanted to take me out. And so you can see that in a lot of people. And that's kind of where that thing was. And so I ended up getting more focused, more driven, getting more in alignment, getting into alignment. That makes a difference for me. When God started opening up things, he's going to make those crooked roads straight. When he says that's true, because I was able to see things in a different perspective. I was able to maneuver and to go, around. And so, yeah. So that's what I got with that. I also got I had a issue with. I talked about how being around people and separating from those people, but I had an issue with being okay with achieving things that other people are not. To whom much is given, much is required. People think that when they think about how much it costs. Don't think about the things that you have to give. When it comes to things like that, I can invest for the most part and say, okay, I would rather do this and have this than to have that, because I know in order to get to where I want to be, to have it all, I have to get rid of this, You know, I had to lose this. And so I was okay with that. I was more than okay with doing that. Okay. Here's the tricky part. Because of jealousy, because of people who want to dim your light, because of people who are not into shining their light, don't even know what their light is. People who are never experienced light in their life, and you're around them, so you'll be shocked to think of. And when I say light, I'm talking about what they are designed and what they're the reason that they were created. Okay. A lot of people are just going day by day by day by day, and they're comfortable with it. Or some people are just sad and they don't understand what's going on. You know, and everybody has that metamorphosis time. Some people know right off the back and they go hard for it. Okay, from the beginning, from when they were little. You know, when you are light and you're letting your light, when you're letting your light shine, and you're around so many people who want to dim your light, sometimes you can get into a habit of dimming your light to appease others. Sometimes you get so used to not to just appease others, just to keep what it is appeasing, just to keep what we say, just to keep the peace. You know. And I know a lot of people who are around here are like that. Like, I just go somewhere else and just, you know, be light. But light cannot be hidden. That's what's the thing is. It's going to tear at you and nag at you every time you try to dim your light, because God didn't place you as being a light to be dim. Like, a light is not going to be dim unless it's about to go out. Like, you're going to suffocate yourself doing it. So I was... Hey, awesome. Yeah, it's gotta be a crash, because this is crazy. So I would just downplay my accomplishments, you know, not tell anyone, or all this kind of stuff. You know, I would just really downplay, because I know I've seen and witnessed the attacks that go on from it. You know, I witnessed the attacks. And so, and when you witness those attacks, it's like none other sometimes. Sometimes it can be very detrimental. They can be very hurtful. They can be just really, really bad. Okay? Point blank. It can be very bad. And so, excuse me. And so, because of that, like I said, I would downplay, and I would feel so sick about it. It got to the point where I felt so nauseous just to downplay. But I, you know, at the same time, I know that I wouldn't get, you know, I would downplay it, but I would feel so battled down, because I know, because of what I'm going through and what God has brought me out of. If I don't open my mouth, it doesn't hurt. It doesn't help. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't help or reach out to the people who need it. You know, and that's our main goal. So it would make me sick. Okay, it would make me literally sick. Okay, and so because of that. I don't know, it was just like God was just churning that. Like, God takes care of all of that. It was just churning to the point where I could barely stand up and complete things without I just couldn't stand up. I couldn't complete things without you know, opening my mouth, sharing my story, sharing my testimony. That's how it was. That's how it was. And so I began to not only open my light, but be around people who are more receptive to light. I know that sounds, and it doesn't, I know it sounds like it's like, oh, okay, I'm closing myself off to other people because you're only being to people who are receptive to it. But that's not always true. You know, God did the same thing when he was walking this earth. He was around people who was receptive. And sometimes the people that you think are receptive are not the people who are receptive. Remember? The politicians was listening to him. But the people who were the Pharisees and the people who was in the church didn't listen to him. They didn't listen to him at all. At all, y'all. At all. You know? They had tax collectors. They had whores, pimps, you know? Adulterers, you know? All these kind of people, you know? Those were the people that were receptive. And so, yeah. You know, you got to be around people who are receptive. I started understanding that, and when I did, it didn't take away from the people who didn't really care for me or the people who really tried to attack me. No, it didn't take away from that, but it made, because it never stopped, okay? People just are just what they are. They're just like that. But, oh my gosh. But it helped me. It helped me to have endurance. It helped me to encourage myself and to know that what I was doing was not in vain. Who I was speaking to, the audience that I was trying to reach, it is not in vain. The right people are receiving it, and because of that, it ignited something in me so intense and so deep that you know, I was happy about it. You know, I was happy, I was joyous, and it ignited me to even go harder. You know, so that's just my view on that. That's my view. You know, I do know for sure that when God gets in the midst of things, when he is in control and he's taking over on things, that they become way bigger than we could ever imagine. You know, I had to stop putting limitations on God, and that's how I ended up living above water. That's how I became to live above water, because I had to use a source outside of myself. I couldn't say, okay, with this amount of money, I'm making this amount, that amount. I was like, okay. I mean, that really clicked into my head, and it took me years for that, because I'm like, God gave me so much. You know, God wants us to use our gifts to glorify him. He wants us to not be, you know, what we consider is lazy, because sometimes that's not lazy, to sit and wait, you know. So I would work so hard to get certain things done, and God will have it already planned out. You know, God already had it planned out. And your job, you only had one job. Your assignment was to sit yourself down and to let him do what he do. Sit down and obey. Sit down and obey. You don't even want to obey by sitting down. Your issue is not being lazy. It's being too over. You know, too over. You know, and so that's kind of what I got from that. And when I say over, I'm gonna give y'all a good illustration about being over, okay? I had somebody who was, we used to be very cool. I used to think this person was a friend of mine. Found out, hey, it did not work all the way as such. Not to say that this person was an awful person. It just was not a great fit. It was not a great match. And so I felt like, you know, if this was me, I always try to say, if this was me, what would I want people to do? I would still want people to be kind for me. I still want people to help me. No matter what I'm going through, if I was going through something, I would want someone to help. And, you know, I would be receiving of the help, okay? But you got to think of it like this, okay? So I saw this same individual who I just said, and what happened was they needed help. They needed help getting around. They needed help to go to the grocery store. They needed help doing these things. And I'm like, hey, I got time. I got a car. I got gas, you know. And like I said, I never try to charge, not to say that's always right, okay? But I never do. I never do. And I'm like, because I've been in situations, okay? I've been in situations. I've been in things. And it took me some time, okay? I had to grow up. It took me some time, okay? And so, I'm like, hey, if you don't have to, use a drive delivery app service, I can take you for free, and they're like, oh, no, I'm not doing that, no, blah, blah, this, and I'm like, okay, well, I already paid for the ride. I'm like, okay, well, that's cool, because I don't want you to mess up and have that little, penalization fee. You might as well go through with it. But I was like, if you need to come back, let me know. I'll definitely, try to make accommodations. Only thing I got to do today is homework. And so they were like, oh, okay. And they kind of like just threw me off, like blew me off, whatever. And I just said, okay. I didn't worry about it because I was just like, that was just the option. But I started thinking even deeper. When I left, I was like, what about if we were still cool? Because we used to have instances like that, and she would be like, no, this and that. But in reality, she definitely needed the help, but she just wasn't accepted to my help. And I had to be a weaker well, I don't want to say weaker, but in her eyes, I already knew that she felt like I was like a weak person, because I don't know, a lot of people think that I am because I'm kind of nice. I just say patient. But if that was me before, I would have been like, well, no, and waited, like, because I'm like, okay, I know this person needs help. They might be trying to be a bigger person. Because like I said, I've been in situations like, I'll be like, no, I don't want to bother anyone. In this case with her, it is not like that, okay? But for me, when I went through something similar, it was like, I don't want to bother people. I don't want to be that person, because I told y'all before in the previous video about my trust issues and about people not following through for me. They will follow through for other people, but they don't follow through for me. Okay. And so because of that, I have that complex. Like, I have to do it on my own. I have to do this on my own, because at the end of the day, they're not going to be there. Okay. And which is true for the most part. For the most part, it's true. But it's not always that way. So I would have sat there and I would have waited. And I was like, dang, what did I learn from this? Like, Bill, like, you would have waited, but at the same time, you would have wasted your time. God might have something bigger for you to do. He might want you to rest. He might want you to do something else. He might want you to help somebody else down the street, who really looking for somebody, who's willing and open to say, yes, I need help, and really calling on God to, like, please send somebody to help me, It could have been that. It could have been that, And so, for me, that was my aha moment. That was my aha moment as far as learning what I was supposed to do and how to navigate myself and to keep myself above water. Because at the end of the day, you do want to have self-preservation. I don't want to say, oh, you're just so selfish, but you do want to have self-preservation. And, yeah. And so I just wanted to share that with you guys, because it gave me so much of a relief when I did not, when I didn't have to, when I didn't have to do these things. And so, yeah, hopefully that gave you guys some revelation. I know I'm just smacking on this gum so good because I only had a couple of eggs today, going on a fast. So, yeah, hopefully that gave you guys some insight in seeing my perspective of how to stay above water, and how to be okay, and how to navigate things when God changes your mind, because it's a whole different dynamic. You start seeing things in a different light. How it would save you. How it would save you. So I'm gonna get off here. Hopefully something I said or done will help you on your journey. Please stay tuned to Journey to Jerusalem.